Hey guys, Tiffany here of Tiffany Green Cosplay, and welcome to my channel. On today's cosplay tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I painted Jinx's pistol from the game League of Legends, and it is the Arcane Skin one. And if you missed how I made this pistol, I will have a link in the description. And before we begin, remember to like this video as well as subscribe to the channel, and then we can start. And for painting this, you're gonna need, of course, your pistol, Plastidip, airbrush paint, airbrush gun and compressor, masking tape, paintbrushes, sealer, and of course your safety gear. And if you don't have access to an airbrush gun, you can always hand paint it following these same steps. And I'll have a link in the description for all of these products. And for starting off, you're going to want to prime your piece, and for this I do 3 heavy coats of Plastidip onto the entire surface of the pistol. Remember, you will want to wear your respirator for this. And once you have waited 24 hours for all of the Plastidip to fully dry, you then can start painting. And for me, I use my Iwata Eclipse airbrush gun as well as Createx Colors airbrush paint. And the first color that I'm going to be using onto the pistol is a base coat of white. This is going to make all of the colors afterwards pop. Once that coat of paint was dry, I then went to Pearl Copper, applying it to all of the white surface areas. Now for shading, and for this I did a mixture of gold chrome and jet black, mixing them together and then applying them to all of the areas that I wanted to have shadow, applying a heavy amount and then wiping it away with a paper towel. This way all of the darker colored gold would stay into all of the areas. I will also note that throughout this paint job, I did intentionally make this look a bit more messy than normal just because the in-game gun is very colorful and it looks like it's been beaten up and has a lot more kind of fun aspects to it. So there's intentional leaving more paint and more mistakes throughout the piece. And to give it more of a stylized feel from the show and game, I went back with a paintbrush and the Pearl Copper color and kind of just put it in all of the highlight areas and made it a noticeable brush stroke so that way it would pop more. Once that section of paint was dry, I then masked off all of the gold areas and then did a base coat of jet black onto the rest of the surface of the pistol. Once that was dry, I then did a mixture of aluminum and pearlescent white onto the entire pistol. And from reference images, the barrel part looked to be a little bit darker, so I did add a little bit of jet black to the mix just for the barrel, as well as doing some shadowing onto the chamber and grip section of the gun. Now for some fun Jinx color spots, and for this I started off with fluorescent magenta, applying it in small amounts on both sides of the barrel. I will note that you will have to apply a couple of coats with this just to make it pop on top of a darker surface. So if you wanted to, you could apply white underneath these parts and it would make it pop a lot more, or you can just paint this in multiple coats. You can also do this by hand, which will probably be a little bit easier as well. I also wanted this to look more intentionally put on and more messy painted, so I ended up getting a dry paintbrush, dipping it into the paint, and then with a finger flicking the bristles in the direction of the gun so it gave a splatter-like paint look onto the surface. And once that color was dry, I then did a mixture of limelight green and fluorescent yellow, doing the same type of technique I just talked about to the barrel. Now for some detail painting, and for this I started off with straight aluminum and my paintbrush, applying it to all of the highlighted areas onto the silver sections, giving it a more painterly brushstroke pop. And I also made a mixture of brown paint color and I painted this on for the grip section. Now to remove all of the masked off sections and revealing the gold areas. And you really could have done this earlier, but I decided to do it then. Anyway, the next color that I did was a mixture of white and then the brown paint, and then I applied this onto the wrapping part on the grip. And the very last part of the detail painting was I went back with straight jet black onto all of the shadow areas in between each part. This way it really made it pop specifically for camera. And when that was done, it was time to seal all of the paint, and for this I used Createx Colors UVLS Satin, applying this by a paintbrush onto the entire surface of the gun. You can also do this by airbrush gun, but I prefer to do it by hand. And that, guys, is how I painted Jinx's pistol from the game League of Legends, specifically the Arcane skin. And if you found this video helpful for making your very own, let me know in the comments, as well as like the video and subscribe to the channel. And a big thank you to all of my company sponsors here on YouTube, as well as all of my members, specifically those legendary members, who really help me financially with continuing doing this as my full-time job. So if you'd like to help and support, become a member, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I will see you for our next cosplay tutorial. Much love, guys. Hey guys, Tiffany here of Tiffany Green Cosplay, and I just realized I don't have my microphone on for any of this. It's probably not going to be heard. Yay! Painted Arcane Jinx's skin game, whatever.